You want me to sing my praises? Is that what you're saying? Why should I? Well, I'm a master legislator. I am a strategic, politically astute leader. They will always make a target. Senator Reid was a target. Senator Daschle was a target. Tip O'Neill was a target. I am a target. But I think I'm worth the trouble, quite frankly.
Go ahead, girl. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi reminded haters and critics of her credentials on Thursday after a number of Democrats called for her to step aside after her starring role in Republican attack ads against Jon Ossoff led some to conclude that she was to blame for his defeat in Georgia.
You see these commercials that tie these candidates to Leader Pelosi week in and week out. You got to beat the Republican, and you got to carry this very toxic Democratic brand on your back, too. That's a tough thing to ask a candidate running for Congress.
It seems as if Republicans have mastered the art of the Jedi mind trick. Because on the subject of Nancy Pelosi's leadership, Democrats are suddenly sounding a lot like Republicans. Take, for instance, this guy back in 2010.
Are we going to fire Pelosi? Are we going to retire Harry Reid? Are you going to take back your government? Are we still we the people?
The guy in that fetching red T-shirt is, of course, former RNC Chairman Michael Steele, who joins me now, along with Joan Walsh, Michelle Bernard, and Jamal Simmons. We did a friend panel here because I got to go at Michael Steele a little bit. Michael! First of all, no, I'm actually going to give you credit because you managed to take an ordinary person, a woman with a fabulous wardrobe who's very successful at getting reelected and raising money, and turn her into the leader of the Democratic Party as minority leader of the House of Representatives, not even the Senate. And you did it in part by turning her into a zombie queen. I know you didn't make this ad, but I'm going to play this ad. This is an ad from 2010. A guy named John Dennis made it, and this is Zombie Pelosi.
John Dennis?
Insane.
Nancy.
It's insane. It's insane. Okay, here's another one. I have to run one more. That was a guy named John Dennis who did that ad. Another crazy ad from May of 2010. This is a giant 50-foot attack Pelosi.
Now, gorged on our taxpayer dollars, Pelosi has grown into a power-hungry Goliath, defying the will of the American people. Who has the power to stop her? Who can save America? You, the Pennsylvania voter.
She's enormous! Michael Steele, how did you manage to trick Democrats into adopting exactly that view of Nancy Pelosi and saying that because y'all said she is a zombie hoarding demon who's enormous and giant and floating over the cities, that they should drop her as their leader?
The art of the brand. That's exactly what it is. No, you know what? It was a big battle inside the party because I was hell-bent on not making the 2010 election about Barack Obama. Many in my party did. They wanted to take this fight directly to the president. And I said, no, you need to take this fight directly to the people. And the people's house is where this war needs to be waged. Not at the White House, but in the people's house. And so, you know, we went out and we talked about if you want to take back control of your government, if you want to take ownership in the decisions that you make, the only person who's stopping you from doing that is Nancy Pelosi. And so whether you were running for dog catcher or for governor of your state, the goal was to tie it all back into how you as an individual or family or a community could re-empower yourselves by taking control of the Congress. And the only way you could do that was by firing Nancy Pelosi. It is a gift that has kept on giving, apparently, because it seems to have worked in this last election cycle, in these special elections as well, and people still make that connection to the House through her for some reason. It's very effective, I think.
People don't make, I mean, the ordinary people, Joan, probably do not know who Nancy Pelosi is. Let's just be honest. People don't know who
that's not true.
No, but ordinary people may not. But the Republicans have gotten Democrats convinced that every person on the street is walking around in terror of Nancy Pelosi, including this guy, Tim Ryan, who wants Nancy's job. Let's be honest. He wants Pelosi's job. He ran
for it and he lost.
And he lost. But here is Tim Ryan today. I think he was on Meet the Press talking about Nancy Pelosi going into 2018.
We're talking about health care for everybody today because of the work that she has done. So this is completely unfair. But the reality is that, you know, the fact that we have to go into 2018 with a leader who has been damaged.
Could Republicans possibly have been successful at saying Nancy Pelosi, the minority leader of the House, is the Democratic Party and market her to every single person without the help of Democrats?
Absolutely not. And I was in the 6th District. I disagree with my friend Michael. Nancy Pelosi was not the factor there. They did run some ads with her face. They put Bernie Sanders' face on it. Should he leave politics now? I mean, I think it's ridiculous to let Republicans choose our leaders for us. And the fact that I'm on your segment today, not talking about health care, but defending Nancy Pelosi is ridiculous. We should be fighting with one voice, with one aim to defeat this horrible bill. And instead we're debating, is it time for her to go? I just think it's outrageous.
And I mean, you know, one of the things, Jamal, that a lot of Democrats envy about Republicans is that if there was a Republican Nancy Pelosi, they would fight like hell. They would fight you in the street if you said anything bad about her. They have defended guys who beat up reporters. They have defended guys who made comments about legitimate rape. They will defend their people. They've got people that have gone down in sex scandals and then run for office with the full support of their party. One thing you've got to give Republicans, they don't allow you to go around beating up their people. They defend their people. Why are Democrats? They're men. Well, they're men. But why are Democrats so quick to throw their own people under the bus?
Well, you know, that can get into an entire sociological exercise about why people choose to be Democrats in the first place, which we can have that over coffee later. First of all, I want to say I'm worth the trouble. I'm going to use that in my next 360 review at work. I am worth the trouble.
Me too.
She is,
no, Nancy Pelosi is actually a fantastic leader. If it wasn't for Nancy Pelosi, we would not have the ACA bill that Barack Obama got passed, because she's the one that got it through the House of Representatives and made sure that it was going to happen. So for Democrats to throw Nancy Pelosi overboard would not be the smartest move. I will say also, though, a little more Tim Ryan messaging would help the Democrats out a lot. That earlier segment we did with Mr. Bryce from Wisconsin kind of lays into that. We got to have more talk about the economy, more talk about things that unite us as a Democratic Party, while we continue to hold up the flag on things like immigration and equality and criminal justice reform.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, Michelle, that, you know, Republicans, you know, again, they are very adaptable and they learn about the politics piece. The governing part, yeah, but, you know, but the politics part they're very good at.
Yeah.
And so Donald Trump has now picked up this ball that, you know, Michael Steele, you got to give him credit. He started this idea.
He's a
that
smart
you brand
guy.
Nancy Pelosi, you tag her as she's the leader, she's the boss of the Democratic Party, she's the face. Here's Donald Trump picking up that ball and taunting Democrats with it in a way of talking to Republicans.
I hope she doesn't step down. I think that it would be a very, very sad day for Republicans if she steps down. I'd be very, very disappointed if she did. I'd like to keep her right where she is because our record is extraordinary against her.
And I mean, their record includes Barack Obama being elected and reelected while she was Speaker and House Majority Leader.
Yeah.
You know, her powers don't extend to every single race ever. She's been quite successful. Like 2006, she gave Rahm Emanuel the job from which he got all the credit as the Triple C chair for electing people to the House, which is the DCCC's job.
Exactly. And, you know, I want to quote a very famous philosopher here, Chance the Rapper, who once said, you can take them to church, but you got to have a choir. Nancy Pelosi needs a choir. Also, it's not even her job. This is not her job. John Ossoff did not lose because of Nancy Pelosi, and if he won, she would not have got the credit.
Amen.
You know, I'm going to an event on Tuesday being hosted by 3 groups: Rosa PAC, Poder PAC, Emily's List. They are celebrating electing 10 women of color to Congress, and they've got a goal of 100 coming up. This whole anti-San Francisco values rhetoric that we're seeing by Republicans and Democrats, Joan, I know you will agree, is ridiculous. Kamala Harris, my classmate from Howard University, she's been in San Francisco for years. She is woke, and she is taking it to Jeff Sessions every day of the week. If another Democrat loses a race, are they going to throw her over the barrel?
And that, I think, is exactly the point, because let me play the next potential target. If Michael Steele wants to start a new project, branding project for the RNC, here is Donald Trump attacking one Elizabeth Warren. Take a look.
Well, I actually think she's a hopeless case. I call her Pocahontas, and that's an insult to Pocahontas. I actually think that she is just somebody that's got a lot of hatred, a lot of anger.
She's got a loud microphone. And
well, she does, but, you know, I don't think she has the kind of support that some people do. I think she hurt Hillary. I watched her campaigning for Hillary. and she was so angry. Hillary would be sitting back listening to her, trying to smile. But there were a lot of people in that audience that were going, wow, is this what we want?
Would you be surprised, Joan, if the next thing we hear from progressives is, oh my God, Elizabeth Warren needs to stand aside, she is now a target?
She cannot run for president.
She must stand down.
She's too angry. No, and I don't really think there's a coincidence that we're talking about women, including Hillary Clinton.
Exactly.
And so there's also this subtle, the whole battle in the party right now, which is a false battle in my opinion, but it's there between identity politics, so-called,
yes,
and class politics. That's being fought here too, but in ways that people won't say, because Pelosi is associated with gay marriage, being from San Francisco, but also being staunchly for it. She's associated with feminism. She's associated with these things that certain elements of the party think should be downplayed to appeal to white men, rather than focusing on the base of our party, which is women, and particularly women of color.
Yeah.
Yes,
Michael, yes.
Yeah, Joy, I was going to say that the one thing, though, about the 2010 cycle that I think is very, very important to understand is that I never thought it was credible to go after Nancy Pelosi personally. I've known her a long time. She's a Baltimore girl, and I know I respect her game. She's good at this game, and so I figured I had to be tactical and strategic with her on policy, not personally. And that's the big difference. What the president did with Elizabeth Warren was personal. The name calling is not how you get people on your side. It's going to be sound policy arguments that people I can identify with.
And Jamal, that is the point, because if she wasn't any good, they wouldn't attack her, right? Because this is because she's effective. And Trump is kind of right when he says he'd be sorry if she went, because then who would corral the votes in the House?
That's right. And Michael just touched on a really important point, which is policy. And really the challenge for the Democrats, it was a challenge in Georgia 6, the challenge for the Democrats nationally, is that our policy brand is shallow. And so people don't have a lot of things to attach on how the Democrats are going to make lives better for working people in this country. And so that is the thing that Democrats have to hit more importantly and harder, so that it makes it harder to go after an individual like Nancy Pelosi. When you've got a shallow brand and it comes time to make people's lives better, you can attack somebody personally and get everybody fixated on that instead of talking about what your real agenda is. And that's where I think Democrats have got to change what we're up to in order to win in 2018.
You got to stand for something, but you also, why would anybody want to be down with a group of people who won't even back you up in a fight? That is, I think,
courage
Democrats
and vision.
You got to have some courage and have some vision. Amen. That's I'm stepping off my soapbox now. Michael Steele, Joan Walsh, Michelle Bernard, and Jamal Simmons. Thank you guys all. All right, and for more on my thoughts on anti-Pelosi liberals, check out my latest column this week in The Daily Beast. It's got a high school movie metaphor. Coming up at the top of the hour, what's driving Donald Trump's policymaking? Is it all about destroying President Obama's legacy? But up next, more AM Joy.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.